That's true. And, of course, and midway through the round, she shot 5 bogeys, which I think you'll agree is superb marksmanship. Excuse me. Hello? What? Well, no one mentioned it to me. I just assumed it was a 9:30 start. Right, OK, no, I'll handle it. I'm sorry, everybody, we're going to have to start the show again. You still there, Pete?
Yeah.
All right. Cue opening titles.
It's Micallef to Nicht with your host, Sean Micallef. Special guests, Melissa George, Jimeoin, Erik Thomson, and the Whitlams. Plus the musical stylings of the Channel 9. And now, here he is, the presenter of the show, Mr. Sean Micallef.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Pointing at nobody. Thank you, but very kind. I'm sorry coming out without my jacket done up. I'm a pig, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, I'm Sean Micallef, and I'll be your host for this evening. The network promos have been describing tonight's show as starting at the special time of 9:40. And it is a special time, isn't it? It always has been a very special time. I mean, 10:23 has had its moments, I'll grant you that. And I'll admit 8:07 has always been a personal favourite of mine. And I know that 3:37 p.m. has always been much loved by Francis.
Ah, yes, Sean, the bewitching hour.
Yeah. But none of these hold a candle specialness-wise to 9:40. It truly is the jewel in the crown of the fourth dimension. And I'd like to say it's a pleasure to be starting at it tonight. But sadly, we don't have time as we're running a bit late. Did you all have a good weekend? Well, that's understandable. Very nice of you, actually, to do that. I actually went away for the weekend, not in a René Rivkin sort of way, just regular. I was actually on that Qantas Terror flight to Launceston. That was how they referred to it in the boarding announcement too, the Terror flight. So I should have twigged something was up. What would motivate someone to attack a flight attendant with wooden stakes? I don't know. And the flight attendant himself, Ricky Dracula, was equally in the dark. Anyway, as a result of all this, it's been announced that all Qantas flights will employ at least one armed Sky Marshal, though I would have thought that a Sky Marshal with 2 arms would have been a safer choice. But still, they're an equal opportunity employer, and good on them. Now, I suggested to my producer that tonight I do some jokes on Everest, but he said it would be very expensive and time-consuming getting me there and back in time for the ads. So just the regular stuff then. Apparently, Michael Jackson is facing bankruptcy. With what, I ask? Okay. A link has been found between hormone replacement therapy and dementia, which is interesting, but still doesn't explain Big Kev. And unless he's going through male menopause, in which case...
Hey, Sean.
So, excuse me. Yes, Francis?
How do you make a hormone?
I don't know, Francis, how?
Genetic engineering. Complicated.
Yeah, Francis, please. This is a monologue. Sorry. A professor of microbiology at the University of Queensland says that the virus that causes SARS can live in human faeces for up to 28 days, very much like the residents of many of our nursing homes. It's always it's a good response to have in an opening monologue, a sort of, oh. But, you know, you don't often find the word faeces in opening remarks. I think Kerry O'Brien might have done it tonight on the 7:30 report. Australia's Anglican primate likes bananas. Simon Crean is demanding fixed 4-year terms for both the House of Reps and the Senate so that governments can plan properly for the future. Fair enough, but what on earth has it got to do with him? Meanwhile, the Prime Minister has defended the $60,000 hotel bill he racked up in Rome last July. Most of the money apparently was spent on the minibar, or as John Howard prefers to call it, the normal-sized bar. That'll bring down the government. Well, we have the cream of tonight's show guests this evening. In fact, not just the cream, but the yoghurt and the cheese as well. In fact, the whole range of milk byproduct. Jimeoin. Yes. Certainly. Melissa George, fresh from the set of Friends. Silver Logie winner, Erik Thomson. And of course, the Whitlams. If I could go any higher. And of course, as always, despite repeated requests from me to the producers, Francis Greenslade and the Channel 99. Francis, hello. Any change in the lineup tonight?
Sadly, yes, Sean. Adam West is out with gastro, and replacing him on flugelhorn tonight, the legendary José Feliciano. And for one night only, sitting in with the band, the real José Feliciano.
Excellent. Thank you, José. Nice to have you here. Nice to have you here in both forms. Fantastic. And, well, Francis Greenslade and the Channel 99 plus one, José Feliciano.
Try to set the night on fire.
Thank you. Thank you very much, José. You're in Australia at the moment. Obviously, you know you're in Australia at the moment. But you're touring Australia at the moment, is that right?
Yes, I am.
Yes, excellent. Oh, good. Well, the researchers have proved me right once again. Actually, you're the first international guest we've had, José. So I'd like to ask you a question that I've been dying to ask, and I have it written here. What do you think of Australia?
I love Australia. I think it's a country where the men are men and the sheep are nervous.
Oh, wait, I'm sure he does that joke in New Zealand as well. Thank you very much. All right. Now, José, you won 6 Grammy Awards, you recorded over 65 albums, and you sold over 100 million records.
Where's my money?
Yeah. You're playing Adelaide, Perth and Sydney this week, but like many of our guests, you've just appeared at Crown in Melbourne. In fact, you're on the bill with one of our favourite acts, the $10.90 Chicken Parmigiana. As you see here, it's headlining this week. José was the support act. You see their price includes unlimited salad bar, José Feliciano and a free Coke. Great value. I'd have a word to them about the billing there, José. But, well, we've got your dates here, which is great for me. I'm informed, but not much help to anybody watching. All right. Okay, we're hearing a lot more from José during the show. Now, folks, while the Prime Minister is busy choosing the new Governor-General, I was thinking about the temporary Governor-General, Guy Green. Presumably he's still there, government house sitting, turning the sprinklers on, feeding the fish and that sort of thing. But what concerns me is that, as we know, Sir Guy is the Governor of Tasmania. So I'm wondering, while he's away, what's happening back home? Good. Business as usual. Now, the new Harry Potter book is out soon. I think it's... What date is it? Anyone know? June? 21st of June. Thank you very much. 21st of June. And look, it's been a long time coming. Author J.K. Rowling was 2 years late turning it in. Had this been to a public library, she'd be up for a fine of hundreds of dollars, but it wasn't. It was to a publisher, so instead she's set to receive millions of dollars. Work that one out, Australia. I'm Sean Micallef.
Harry Potter stick, take 2.
Sorry about that. Anyway, she had a lot of trouble with the book. This is the 5th in the series. The American publisher didn't like the title again. You might recall that the American version of the original Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone was called Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, because Americans might think that philosopher was too intellectual. Well, it's happened again, where the rest of the world will get Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. The US will get Harry Potter and the Order of French Fries. Something they can understand, apparently. Now, J.K., or Rowling, has said that it was very hard getting inspired with this book, and this may be the last one. Now, obviously, the publishers are very keen for more and are pressuring her. And we've been lucky enough to get a hold of some of the early drafts of future Harry Potter sequels. And this is true. I'm not sure that, you know, you can see the strain beginning to show with these first few here. Harry Potter and the Magical Thing, just a bit vague. And then toying around with the character, you know, you just don't change your character, really. Harry Potter and the Contact Lenses. And anybody who's seen the most recent film will know that this one is relevant, but I don't think it'll work that well. Harry Potter and the Onset of Puberty. And really, she's not even trying here with this one, I'm afraid. Harry Potter and the Harlem Globetrotters on Gilligan's Island. You know. And I found this one interesting in a sort of, I guess, a sort of a postmodern way. Harry Potter and the "Oh God, will someone please get me out of my contract?" In fact, the publishers have asked other authors to help out in order to keep the franchise running. I'm not sure about these. They've got Stephen King onto it here. Harry R.I.P. Here's one from Dick Francis. Harry Potter and the Murder Involving Horse Racing. Available from airports. Nice one for the younger viewers there. Harry Potter and the Twins from Sweet Valley High. And also one from Harold Robbins. Harry Potter and the Twins from Sweet Valley High. And here's a surprising one from Barbara Cartland. Harry Potter and the Flesh-Eating Space Zombies. I think they're onto a winner there. No, nothing more here. Just Rich Little. And for those of you who missed Alan Jones on the Today Show last month, It's actually better doing it every month because not only can't you understand what he's saying, but it's a lot harder to see him as well. We'll be back right after this with Jimeoin. José Feliciano there. Senor Bolero 2 is available on import only. The film Matrix Reloaded opened recently in cinemas around Australia. We weren't invited to the premiere, so we have no footage for you of the glittering event. But we did send Lavinia Nixon to this evening's 7:15 session at Heidelberg to find out just what audiences thought of it. She joins us now.
Hi, Sean.
Lavinia, hello. Nice to see you again. So how did audiences react to Matrix Reloaded?
I'm not too sure, Sean. It was actually pretty dark in there.
Yeah, but afterwards, did you speak to members of the audience as they left the cinema? Did you?
Unfortunately, Sean, no. By the time I got out here, everybody had gone.
Right. So you stayed till the end of the...
I did, Sean, yes. I love those copyright warnings and the Roman numerals.
Yes. So you actually haven't filmed anything for us, have you?
No, I haven't.
Right. We'll be hearing a lot more from Lavinia during her dismissal proceedings. Thank you, Lavinia. Well, if I were to say that my first guest tonight is Australia's favourite Irishman, most of you would probably know who I meant. The rest of you might think I'm referring to Sean Kramer, in which case you're going to be very disappointed in a few moments when he doesn't walk out here. Not only that, but you're confusing the bulk of our audience who have no idea who Sean Kramer is. If only you'd keep your ridiculous thoughts to yourself, you'd save yourself a lot of embarrassment and not waste my time and that of my actual guest who's waiting to come on. Sorry. Here he is, Jimeoin. Jim, I've never seen such a graceful entrance.
Thank you, that was my showbiz walk.
And you sat down with aplomb and certainty and an assuredness that I have not seen in the 4 weeks I've been doing this program. And I thank you very much for taking a break from your tour that you're doing at the moment. You've come down all the way from Queensland.
I flew back from Brisbane
just
to be on the show.
You're an old hand, though, aren't you, at these Tonight Show things, aren't you?
I've been on them all.
Yes, you know, you've done that chair and you've done this chair too, because you used to...
I've been on this chair before, I'm sure. This chair's been... This was the old chair they had on Midday.
Midday, yes. No, that chair has seen a lot of shows. There's an extraordinary tradition here in this chair. And you've sat... Have you tried that chair? Would you like to sit down in that chair there? Let's have a feel of that. What does that feel like to you? Let's just see if you can... Let's see how smart you are, Jimeoin.
That's nice.
Yes, what do you...
I like that.
What show is that from?
Ooh, Ernie and Denise?
Ernie and Denise it is! Jimeoin, he knows his chairs. And you've sat on many a chair, haven't you?
I've sat on that chair, actually, as well.
This chair? Where's this? This chair is from Star Trek, isn't it?
It is, yes.
It's a scaled-down version of it. But you've sat on international chairs, too. You've been in the States.
I've been on Des O'Connor.
Yes, Des O'Connor. And you were on with illustrious
Everybody
guests.
laughs when you say Des O'Connor.
Does anyone remember Des O'Connor? Yeah.
Des O'Connor.
Everybody remembers Des O'Connor, clearly, from that harangue there.
And Conan O'Brien.
Yes,
I've been on that. They take it very serious, not like this show.
No, well, we don't care, really, do we? Clearly.
In Conan O'Brien, you have to... The last time I was on Conan O'Brien, I had to do my act down the phone to them.
You had to phone it in?
I literally had to phone it in. And then halfway through it, I thought, I just can't do this.
Why is this so they'll approve it or something?
Yes, yeah. They see whether they like your jokes, see whether they find them funny. And they don't really like your jokes. They go, you got any other jokes? And then I thought, no, this isn't worth it, so I'm not going to do this. And then my agent, she did my act down the phone for me.
Oh, yes.
And did it much better than me.
And you got on?
Yeah, now she's touring America, doing very well. No, but yeah, I got on, yes, thanks to her.
Good.
But yeah, and what else have I been on? Did I mention Des O'Connor?
You did mention Des. We all know who Des O'Connor is. More people know him now as a result.
Midday Show was the best one to go on. Midday Show was the first time I'd ever been on TV, and it was live. You had to do stand-up to the audience. You weren't really... they were just there to see... You do your stand-up spot, and they just try to be looking past you to see Ray, you know, the whole... And
it's an older audience, though.
It is,
your crowd.
They never actually laugh. They just sit there and knit the whole way through you. And then when you get to the punchline of the joke, they just knit quicker. So, yeah, I had a jumper thrown at me. I was doing very well that day. But the band would always laugh, and that was the main thing.
The band are very supportive on the Midday Show. That was Jeff Harvey and his
Jeff Harvey, yeah. So if you got a laugh out of them, you were doing well.
But I mean, doing your stand-up on the show is one thing, but when you sit and have a chat, not that there's any evidence of it tonight, but there's a certain magic, isn't there? There's a certain there's a certain art to talking, isn't there?
I hosted it, and then see, I don't know if you have a couple of planned stories that you go onto the show with. And then, like...
Normally, not tonight,
but not tonight. And, but if I was telling them, you wouldn't even be listening, because halfway through you're thinking, right, what am I going to ask them the next question so I can tell... So, yeah, it's a lot of old waffle. I have a couple of good stories, but I've done them. I've done them to death.
Which one is it?
Let me see.
7B? You can do 7B for us?
Oh, the one about being in a fight on stage. Did I tell you that?
No, you tell us that one.
I did a gig in Esperance in Western Australia. It turned into a theatrical show where
what happened?
A guy, well, glad you asked. A guy jumped up on stage, and we had a full-on punch-up on stage, and the audience thought it was part of the act. They thought it was part of theatre, a little piece of theatre, and they were like, watching it. And then we got them out, and then they came on stage and continued the fight.
So this was obviously...
I told it much better in the Midday Show. It's lost a lot over the years.
This is not a fan, obviously. This is not a fan.
I think he was. I think he was. He started off as a fan. He started off wanting an autograph. He goes, saw my arm, saw my leg, saw my chest. But fans can be quite nasty at the same time. I had a woman come up to me I think it was in Brisbane, where I'm going to be pretty soon. Tied that in with a plug and everything.
That's good. That's nice.
She came up, because people think I'm really tall. I'm actually quite small.
Well, you're what? You're about...
4'7".
4'7", and in fact, we had most of this made to scale to make you appear taller.
But people don't know how big you are, because they don't really see you up on stage. They assume that you're quite a big person. And this old lady stood beside me, and she looked at me after I came off, and she goes, yeah. She must have been about 70, and she goes, oh, he's only a little turd.
What a lovely old woman.
She was a fan. Yeah. And she liked me, so yeah.
This was at Midday. And you're...
that was Ray.
It's the way you're introduced. Here he is, a very delightful small turd.
Little turd. Bring him on.
When you... what's the most intimidating, apart from, you know, the threat of physical violence, you must have played to audiences or audience members who intimidated you or who you're a little scared of?
I did the Late Show in Ireland, and it's like everybody in the whole of Ireland watches it, and it's a huge rating show, and it's quite a controversial thing. They'll have a stand-up on, and then after me, and the audience were all, after me there's a guy who's pro-heroin in the community, and everyone in the audience had either experienced someone who they knew who died from heroin, and then I had to go on and do stand-up before this, and I had no idea that this was coming on next. And as you can see the audience here, you can see the back row there, they're sort of lit. All I could see was people just, as I'm doing my act, they're just sitting there going... and it was like deadly silence, so I just did it down the barrel of the camera, and that was the most intimidating, I think. But this is pretty tough too, to be honest.
No, this is no, not at all. Actually, what I was trying to do was press the button for the Jerry Seinfeld story. I mean, I love that story that you just told.
Jerry Seinfeld story. Have I ever been... Oh, yes! I like to call that number 7D.
7D, all right.
7D.
Do 7D for us.
7D. Yes, well, try and sort of work it in some way, sort of mention other comics I like, just quickly.
Right. So what sort of comedians are you a big fan of Buddy Hackett?
No, I like Seinfeld. He actually came to my show.
Is that right?
Seinfeld, yes, came along to my show, yes. And everyone watching me, so the whole way through it, they just, because afterwards everyone go, hey, Jerry loved your show, and they were French, and
but not Jerry.
No, not Jerry. But he didn't even, he apparently did like the show, but he didn't come up and say he liked the show afterwards. I hung very close to him afterwards, right, just hoping that he might say something, but not a word.
All right, well, look...
Get out of bed, he said eventually. His girlfriend said she liked the show. But I can't really put that on a poster, could I? No. Jerry Seinfeld's girlfriend says you're good.
I don't know. Got a certain lyrical quality to it. Let's take a question from a caller now, Jim. Xavier, you're first. Go ahead. Xavier?
Yes, hello, Mr. Jimeoin, is it?
Certainly is.
How are you this evening?
I'm very good. Yourself?
That's good. My name is Xavier from Carpet Mania. We're currently doing a promotion in your area, and I wonder if you'd be interested in a free gift from Carpet Mania's beautiful selection of luxury mats.
Look, sorry, so Jim Owens, you're a bit busy at the moment, obviously.
Of course. When would be a more convenient time for me to call and tell you about the free gift and Carpet Mania's special offer for this month?
Jim, when would be a convenient time to bring you back?
Well, I am on tour until the end of the month, the whole way up through Queensland, so you can play this game. And after that, that would be probably a good time, towards the end of June.
You don't want any mats, do you?
No.
So
I do, actually, because I wouldn't mind. I want a chip at the back of the house, and I wouldn't mind a
We've got a mat perfect for that one.
Really?
Xavier, look, Xavier, just don't call again, all right? We're going to call the police. This is the 5th time you've done that. Thanks very much for your call. Jim, your tour is called... actually, your DVD is called The Jimeoin.
Yes.
Why is it called The Jimeoin?
Well, I like the band The Jam, and...
Oh, I see.
I actually stole that off The Jam.
All right, no, that's all right. A mystery cleared up then. And you're touring all over the shop.
I did that. Can I just tell you? I did this gig in Ireland, and then because I record a gig at the end of every tour, I'll always record the show, and that's often just crap because I'm very aware of the fact that I'm being filmed. But that was a good one. And then I didn't have any audience shots. So the actual gig is in Ireland, but the audience are in Perth. I stole the audience from another show.
So they're a good audience?
They were fantastic. They were so good. But halfway through the show in Dublin, I asked the audience, is there anyone from Australia? And then I was watching it, I'm thinking they're all from Australia. So if you see yourself in my DVD and think, I've never been to Ireland, that'll be it.
All right. Well, Jimeoin, thank you very much for coming along the show, and we've enjoyed your company. Would you please thank Mr. Jimeoin? Okay, coming up after the break, pins are inserted and the limb is immobilised in a plaster cast, thus enabling the bone to knit together. Sorry, that's not my cue card, is it? That's it's Grey's Anatomy, isn't it? Sorry. Anyway, we'll be back with Melissa George and Erik Thomson right after this. Will you stay with us, Jim?
I shall.
Thank you, and welcome back. This week I received a letter from Mrs. Veronica Hoff, the principal of a local high school. Now, last week, thieves broke into this school and, amongst other things, stole every single computer, just like this one, in fact. The computers weren't insured because... please. The computers weren't insured because the school couldn't afford the insurance premiums, and the school certainly can't afford to replace them. So I thought it was only fair that we here on Micallef tonight suggest you forget about enrolling your kids at Richmond High School, because it's obviously going to be seriously under-resourced for some time. Thank you. All right, my next guest began her life as a small baby, and had she remained that way, she would have accomplished nowhere near what she has today. Fortunately for us, the movie-going and TV-ungoing public, she has had the ability to adapt. Oh, I'm sorry, Jim, sorry. Sorry about that. Her cells divided and she grew. The transformation was astonishing, so much so that a mere 26 years later, she is 5 times the height and a staggering 7 times the weight she originally was. Teeth, hair and the ability to speak have also stood her up in good stead as the actor she now is. Joining us via satellite is Ms. Melissa George. Melissa, hello. Sorry about the time delay, but it was your fault. Friends did run over by 10 minutes, so I blame you for that. Actually, sorry, Melissa.
Oh, thank you.
I've got a call coming through. Can I just put you on hold for a second?
Okay.
Thank you. Your interview is important to us. I'll get back to you in a second. Hang on a sec. Hello. Hello. Eric.
Hi, Sean. It's Erik Thomson here. I'm ready for my live cross.
Yeah. No. Well. That's fine. I mean, we obviously want to interview you and chat, but I wasn't aware you would. Where are you?
Well, I'm in the green room, but I'm ready to go.
Eric, the satellite costs $100,000 a minute. Well, you're 20 feet away in the green room. I'm happy to talk to you, but you're going to have to come to the studio. Come on, hurry up, come to the studio. We've got to fit you.
I'll just get a traveller.
Yeah, all right. Anyway, look, we could probably start it now. Eric, now you've played Dr. Mitch Stevens in All Saints for a number of years now.
That's right, mate. That's right.
How many years?
4 years it was.
4 years. Now the character's had an interesting history, hasn't it? Because originally you had an Ebola scare after working in Africa. Is that right?
The Ebola scare came later, but yeah, I worked in Africa for a while. My character did, that is, and then we came across and came back to the Nun, and yeah, that was about it. And
but you married someone else. You see, you married someone else, not Terry, who's played by Georgie Parker. You married somebody else who then went psychotic.
Yeah, that's right.
And then Terry left the order, didn't she? She left the order.
Yep, she left the order.
I'm talking to Eric.
Yep.
Talking to Erik Thomson. She left. Oh, I'm dreadfully. It's Erik Thomson, ladies and gentlemen. Please come. Eric, sit over here. This is Jimeoin. You sit in the other chair. You sit in the midday chair, Eric. Look, now, your character, Dr. Mitch, has been killed off,
He's
basically.
deceased, snuffed it.
All right. Now that's sad. I heard somebody moan there. It might not have had anything to do with that news, but stop it at once if it isn't. Now you died. I mean, did you have a say in the manner of your death? Were you consulted at all?
No, ultimately they said that I told them that I wanted to leave, and they said that we then probably have to kill you off. I said, well, perhaps.
They meant in the story, obviously.
Yeah.
Because Channel 7 are pretty hard masters.
Exactly. I said, how about maybe his 5 wives from Africa come across with 25 kids and say, where have you been all this time? Come on back.
Yes.
But they didn't.
They didn't go with that.
Didn't go with that. No, neither did the audience.
They're rather kill it. Well, you know, this is an audience of script editors tonight here at night. Yes. They know from what they speak of.
My best friends.
All right. Now you can I ask you? You won the Silver Logie this year.
Yes.
For Best Male Actor. Jimmy, you've won Logies too. You know.
Never. I got nominated.
You never won one?
I've never won anything.
I'm sad. I'm appalled that you've never won
I've never won anything until that.
Well, you've won, so I've never won anything.
Well,
this time, yeah.
Excuse me, sorry, I just wanted to say I've won 2. As you raised it. Actually, did you bring the Logie along with you? Because I've never seen a silver one.
I didn't, no. I didn't? No, have you just got the gold, have you?
No, well, mine's some sort of minor alloy.
All right.
Silver. Could you draw it for us? I just want to show the audience what the Logie looks like.
It's sort of like a vibrator with arms and legs holding a television.
Yes, what a metaphor for the Australian television industry. But did you feel like when you won the award, obviously winning the award for Mitch, can we see that? Looks like there we are.
It's fine.
It's really...
That's why I was an actor, not an artist.
No, that's right. Looks very much like Gumby. Did you
Bananas and pyjamas.
Did you feel you might have killed the goose that laid the golden egg now that you've won the Logie, of course, for the character, the very character that you've decided not to play anymore?
Well, I actually thought it was quite a fitting way to finish it up. You know, like I said in the night, I thought it was a good, you know, sort of full stop at the end of the time. And I was about to say end of the career.
No.
Yeah. Here's
not yet.
Not yet.
A couple more months at least.
Exactly. Yeah. No. I think it was the right time to go. I did 175 episodes. In that particular character, and I just wanted to move on and see what else happened, and hopefully something will.
Do you feel that? Do you think that your fans, or at least the TV-going public, will take a while to forget that character of Dr. Mitch and accept you in another role? I know you've grown a beard, or you've obviously been growing facial hair.
It grew itself, actually.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
Did it?
It did. Yes. No. Well, I don't know actually. I just sort of figured that it was time to go, and the sooner I got out of the show, the sooner they would forget, and hopefully they do. But we'll see how things go.
Well, look, we have a little clip here of your death scene. I know it's not terribly funny or anything, but it was very moving. I think it was
funny.
No, I don't think it was. I think you're being very unfair on yourself, and I wouldn't, if I were you, make a mockery of what was a very moving moment. Can we just have a look, please, at Dr. Mitch's movie? I'm sorry.
I told you it was funny.
Well, the trouble, see, Channel 7 wouldn't let us have the footage, so we had to improvise.
I was going to ask you that, actually. I thought there'd been some sort of, like, truce between the networks, but obviously
No, they hate each other with a... It's appalling.
Oh, absolutely.
Jim, you work for Channel 7. They hate hard, don't they?
Oh, they do.
They do.
What show you're on again, by the way?
All Saints.
Yeah, All Saints.
All Saints.
Sorry.
You watched it, obviously. You're a big fan.
I missed that episode, but...
That's when he had the full beard. Now can we... Should we take a caller? Can we take a caller? Let's take another caller.
Right,
Who's on the line, please?
Hello, Mr. Micallef, this is Xavier again. You told me to ring back at a more convenient time.
Yeah, I did not. Xavier, this is a Tonight Show. We're taking questions for Erik Thomson at the moment, all right?
Oh, well, I've got a question for him.
Yeah, mate, what do you want?
Hang on a minute, Erik. We're going and leading with your chin there. Is it about carpet?
A bit, yeah.
Yeah, look, don't ask him about carpet, or ask him about something else, something about acting, something about All Saints.
Okay, Erik, what was it like working with Georgie Parker?
That's a good question.
Well, it's not the first time I've been asked that question, I must say, but it was fun. That's all I can say.
It was fun. Does that answer your question,
Right,
Xavier?
yeah. And do you think she'd be interested in Carpet Mania special officer?
Right, thank you very much. Thank you very much. All right, that's enough of that. All right, now, Erik, what are you doing at the moment? Are you relaxing? Are you working at all?
Not actually doing any work whatsoever.
Right.
No, I sort of figured that firstly I would take a bit of time off, and that time's been about 6 months, and it's been about the right amount of time. I'm ready to work soon, and a few irons in the fire. I'm spending a bit of time down in McLaren Vale on the in-laws property, make a bit of wine, brought some of the home brew along for you. You can have that later on.
Well, I love a fine red, and I'll just open that up and have a couple of... I'll drink that later on. Thank you very much.
That's all right.
So is alcoholism as a career option, you think it's an unusual pursuit for you?
Well, you know, I think it pays. It does pay, you know, especially in that neck of the woods.
And I know you're doing a documentary very shortly, aren't you? You're,
yeah, on Friday I'm narrating a documentary for the ABC called Einstein's Wife.
And what's that about?
Well, funnily enough, it's about Einstein's wife.
Well, the ABC, you trust them to. Yes, Alan Fells won't be ringing on that one.
There's no subtext in that title.
All right, Erik, thank you very much. I just remembered, we actually haven't spoken to Melissa. Can I just go to Melissa? Whoops, sorry. I'll suck that out of the carpet later on. All right, now, let's get Melissa back online. Hello, Melissa, are you there? Obviously not. Hello, Melissa. Sorry, you still there?
Barely.
Oh, good. No, good to hear. Thank you very much for staying with us. Now, look, there are two paths, I guess, for a young actress coming out of a soap in Australia. She can either go on appearing in increasingly less clothing in pop music video clips, or she can go to Hollywood and chance her own over there. And you've done that. You've picked the second option. That's the more difficult option, isn't it?
Much more difficult, but it's more rewarding, I think.
Did you give yourself a time limit when you're over there? Did you say, well, look, I have to secure my first gig in this certain amount of time?
Well, no, because I never really planned to come to the States anyway. So when I got a job and I came here, I said, well, let's just see if I like it. And as it turns out, I do, and I'm still here.
Now, Mulholland Drive, I suppose, is the big film, the first big film for you, wasn't it? Is the director David Lynch as strange as his films are? And don't worry, he won't see this. He won't see this. This is, you know, so you can say what you like about it.
No, he's actually, if you swear on set, you get in big trouble. There's no cursing, there's nothing like that. And he's the only one who's allowed to smoke a cigarette on set. And he's absolutely divine, like the most gentle man you'll ever meet. He's wonderful.
I must ask you, you got married after the film, didn't you? In fact, no, you didn't, because you were on your honeymoon and the film was still being made, wasn't it? You were called back on your honeymoon to do a scene.
He emailed me on my honeymoon, and I'm in Bali and I'm checking my emails, and here I get an email from David Lynch saying, you know, love your friend David and all that. I'm like saying to my husband, oh my God, David Lynch has just emailed me. And basically he was saying, please come home well, not home, but LA. I need you to shoot one more scene. Your character's so important. I need you to come home. And I looked at my new husband and said, David Lynch is calling. I have to go. So everyone stayed in Bali and I flew back, and all I had to do was kiss the girl at the end. And I said to David, that's all he brought me back for? And he said, well, it's very important. Trust me. So I kept the email.
The performance, the lesbian kiss, if you like, in Mulholland Drive, do you think that's led to the role that you've got in Friends at the moment?
I don't know, but my brother said to me, Liz, what's going on? You know, you're kissing all these girls in these movies. And I said, obviously it's fashionable and it's kind of in, and if they need someone to do that, they call on me, and I have no idea why. But
I wondered about working with the cast of Friends, because they're all multi-millionaires. Do they now, aren't they? Do they still get on as a group? And from your observations of Friends, do they just do their lines and go to their trailer, or they sort of hang around together?
No, they hang around together. If one's stressed, the other one gives the other one a massage on the shoulders. It's like they're so divinely close. It's wonderful. I mean, before you go out and shoot the show, everyone gets in a huddle and the whole cast say to each other, I love you. Let's make this the best show ever. You know, let's just keep going and make this the biggest hit. I mean, they really are. It's so good to watch, because I've learned that if I ever do a sitcom or a series, it's very important to be very close together and stand by each other. So they're very good at that.
Sounds so American, Melissa.
It's so American. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry, but you know, this is. But yeah, that's the way it is here. You've got to fit in.
How long does it take to shoot those half hours? I mean, I know tonight was a bit of a difference because it was a longer episode, but how long does it take to shoot a half hour?
Well, I'll take you through the week. I mean, they don't work on Mondays anymore. I mean, gosh, would you believe it? They come in on a Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday, and we rehearse 2 hours a day. Then on the Thursday afternoon, they block the cameras. Friday is the audience day, so you come in the morning, you just run through each scene, literally no longer than 2 minutes. You have dinner for like 3 hours, then you get your hair and makeup done, and then you run out and do the show from, say, 4:30 p.m. in the afternoon, and you keep going to whenever you finish. And usually for the longer shows, it takes maybe to about midnight. But in between that, you know, it's parties, the backstage, everyone's partying. You know, George Clooney was there, Brad Pitt was there, everyone's hanging out, and it's a fun show. So even if you're there to 2 o'clock in the morning, it's brilliant.
Now you're doing in fact, you've done a new film in which you do a bit of hetero kissing, which is a bit of a departure for you. This is Down with Love with Ewan McGregor and Renee Zellweger. I assume it's Ewan you're kissing in this film, and not Renee.
Yes, it is. I mean, it could have been Renee. Yeah, it is Ewan.
Look, your third build in this film. That's pretty impressive, isn't it?
It's so impressive. I went and saw the film, you know, in the valley where I'm living, and I was sitting there and I see my credit come at the beginning of the movie, which is what you negotiate before you do the film. And I'm sitting there and I'm halfway through, I'm noticing that the script's changed, and all of a sudden my scenes are being cut except one, because now Ewan's in love with Renee earlier, therefore he can't be fooling around with the Swedish stewardess that I play. So great title, my name looks fabulous. The one scene in it is gorgeous, but the rest is cut, so I can't really do much about that.
Oh, I see. Okay, so you're not actually in the film but for that one scene.
No, I am in the film, but yeah, I've got one scene, you know, so what can you do? That's Hollywood for you. I spoke to many actors, you know, quite well-known actors, and they said, oh, don't worry about it. I've done 35 movies and all my scenes were cut. I mean, a great example is Adrian Brody in Thin Red Line. All his scenes were cut, and a year later he wins an Oscar. So it's really no show on your talent. It's just they test the film here in Hollywood, and all the audience was saying, well, if he's in love with Renee, why is he falling around with her? So, of course, they're scared it, they cut out your scenes, and
Oh, I see.
but my name looks really great, so make sure you go and see the movie for my name.
Thank you very much for joining us tonight. Good luck with the new film, even though you're not in it. And also, we've got a new series coming on Foxtel called Thieves with John Stamos. That starts here in Australia
Right.
very shortly. Good luck with that. And good luck with the film. And
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Melissa.
Thank you so much.
Melissa George, ladies and gentlemen.
And can I quickly say,
Yes?
hello?
Yes,
Can I
sure.
quickly say my love to my mum and dad?
Yes.
And to my brother Brett, my little sister Katie, and my sister Marnie, and her husband Gav. And I want to say to Gav, up the Mighty Falcons. And thank you, and I love you.
I'm sorry, Melissa, we can't have that. We'll have to cut that out.
Oh, okay.
Please thank Ms. Melissa George. And also, please also thank Erik Thomson and Jimeoin. Anybody you want to say hello to?
No.
Erik Thomson and Jimeoin. We'll be back right after this. Hold on, yelling. Welcome back. Thank you very much. Tim's just been explaining to me how he composes his music. Tim Friedman, everybody.
That B flat, Sean,
Yes.
that's known as the ladies on ladies chord. You should put it in one song at least once.
Okay, shall we?
Oh, well.
All right. Now, so Tim, what comes to you first when you compose? The words or the lyrics?
Hopefully it's the... Hopefully it's the words followed quickly by the melody.
All right, the melody. The melody's so very important for the kids to dance to. Is that how you wrote the song you're about to perform for us this evening?
Well, it's funny you should say that because this is the
Well,
only...
much of a laugh.
No, that's because the audience doesn't know that it's the one cover on the album,
Oh,
Sean.
I see. All right. This is Ivor Davies'
Yes.
song. And are you a fan of Ice House?
I think Ice House had many moments. This is my favourite one of them.
All right. Very good. Now, this is the first time you've actually performed this song on a Tonight Show hosted by a non-fictional character.
In English.
In English.
Yes.
English. So it's an exclusive, isn't
Oh, it's a Channel 9 exclusive.
Because you realise that Effie is she's not real. She's actually just played by Mark Mitchell. You realise that, don't you? Yeah.
Oh, she was nice enough to have me on recently, at least.
That's right. Well, anyway, look, I appreciate you coming along because you are filling in for the last moment. Look, I don't know. Tim is very kindly filling in for at the last moment, I should say, for Leanne Rimes, who was to have performed here, but unfortunately can't because we forgot to book her. So I guess we're partially to blame. But on my view, she's extraordinarily unprofessional not turning up on that pretext.
I think we'd both be a lot happier if she had turned up because she'd be sitting over there cross-legged watching a 14-year-old yodel and I'd be in bed in Sydney watching the same on television.
Perhaps not the same station because those in-house stations at the... All right, now, I should apologise for the set, Tim, because it was designed for Leanne, but we'll try to make up for it by making the camera work a bit arty. I've got some things in mind for you.
Really?
Yeah, I saw your clip. I didn't like it very much, so I think you could probably use this one instead.
It's not a great clip. I mean, it's hard to not watch when you're watching a bloke turn into a spastic mosquito on a treadmill in front of a beach. When you see the clip, you'll know what I mean.
Oh, right.
We're a band that's succeeded despite our film clips. Thank you very much.
Okay. Now, oh no, you're going. Oh, hang on. I'll just show. This is the CD.
Leanne,
That's Leanne's, obviously, and that one's Tim's, and that's just as good in my view, just as fetching there as you lie unconscious. All right, now off you go and smile a bit for God's sake.
Sure.
Try and sell a bit.
And you're directing this clip.
I am directing this clip for you.
Oh, God help me.
All right, and look, I'm sorry about the set. All right, now while Tim's doing that, I just want to have a bit of a chat to you. As well, as if Peter Hollingworth's resignation wasn't enough to cut me to my quick, my good friend Merle Thingy from the Channel 9 canteen has also resigned. I didn't know until I got into the station this morning, demanded to know where my cut of meat was that I always have in the morning. Just a big raw hunk of meat. That's what I eat for breakfast. Anyway, that wasn't there, nor was my cup of hot Java. Anyway, instead of getting either the meat or the coffee, I was handed this tape.
My decision to resign as a sandwich hand was taken after long and soul-searching consideration. I came to this position nearly 2 years ago. I did not think there was anything in my food handling past that would cause a problem for others or for me. I repeat again what I have always believed. All kinds of hygiene breaches are abhorrent to me. However, although acting in good faith, I accept the decision I made at the time, and the sandwich I made at the time using the previous week's egg spread was not the decision I would make today. Now the onus is on me to move forward and do something constructive to help hungry television network employees. The rest I leave to God and the judgment of history.
Yes, yes. A shame, but I think she's made the right decision. And now, ladies and gentlemen, a big Micallef Tonight welcome for the Whitlams.
Gadzooks, is that the time? Let's crank up the funometer and roll out the carpet of merriment, because it's the audience participation segment where you, the viewer, get to be the star, as tonight we play Daryl in the Barrel. Over to you, Sean, and Sidekick.
Thanks very much, Pete. And Francis, whom do we have here?
Well, Sean, here we have Penelope.
Hello.
She's a part-time rodeo clown from Milton.
Yes.
She's unmarried with 5 kids and quite clearly wears a wig.
All right.
She likes donkey rides and pumpkin.
All right. Now, Penelope, have you ever played Daryl in the Barrel before?
No, I haven't.
All right, not surprising, really. Okay, well, sealed in one of these beautiful oak barrels here is a former 9-personality Daryl Summers. If you can guess correctly which one he's in and answer a simple question, you can win one. Thank you very much, and good night. You can win any one of these fabulous prizes, Pete.
That's right, Sean.
And what are they, Peter?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
God, you'd think he'd know how to do this by now, wouldn't you?
Tired of eating your Sunday roast raw? Why not cook it in an oven by Draffen? With its spacious interior and plenty of headroom, it's also perfect for ending it all. Yes, if you've stopped laughing, put your head in a Draffen. Penelope, I can see you in this revealing underwear from Fredericks of Frueville. Curse these X-ray eyes of mine. If only I could rip them from my skull and dash them into the sea. That's the last time I go to a mad scientist to have my cataracts looked at. And what do red bags, a camera, and a cassette player have in common? That's right, they can all be stowed in the cargo hold of a passenger aircraft. And here comes the passenger aircraft. It's not this one, obviously. It's far too small. It's the Boeing -2, built in the 60s so that mice could experience the thrill of air travel. 3 years and no bookings later, Rodent Travel went into voluntary receivership. Their shattered dreams can be your diverting curio when you take home this 5-foot freak of aeronautical design. Be the envy of people with no concept of worth with a Boeing -2. Back to you, Sean and Penelope.
Thank you very much, Pete. All right, Penelope, which barrel do you think Daryl is stored in? You have no thinking time. Number three, Francis, the crowbar, if you please. Thank you very much. You're about to attack poor old Penelope there. All right. Oh, manual labour is my friend. There we go. No, I'm sorry. It is not Daryl in the barrel of number 3. Actually, can't tell who that is because the body is very badly decomposed. Not to worry. Francis, which barrel did contain Daryl?
None of them, Sean. It's all completely rigged.
Oh, well, bad luck, Penelope. Don't worry, though. You're still in the running to win this.
A lump of coal!
All right, now, Penelope, listen very, very carefully to Francis.
OK, Penelope. Now, a train leaves Moscow railway station at 8 a.m. bound for Paris, travelling at an average speed of 110 kilometres an hour, OK? 110. Meanwhile, in Paris, another train departs at 9 a.m. bound for Moscow, travelling at an average speed of 100 kilometres an hour. The distance between Moscow and Paris is 2,770 kilometres.
Pretty interesting story, wasn't it? And well told by Francis.
Thank you very much,
All right,
Sean.
that's right. Now, how about the question? Come on, we haven't got time for this.
Yes, well,
story of trains and geography and distances.
All right. Certainly, Senor Micallef. When Prime Minister John Howard turns 64 in July, he will A. Hand over the leadership of the Liberal Party to Treasurer Peter Costello. B. Announce he will seek a record 4th term in office. And C. Get a new bicycle.
I'll go for C.
C is the correct answer! And now, as well as the lump of coal, Penelope, you are in for a bit of a surprise this weekend, as Francis will explain.
Penelope, do you like walks on the beach at sunset?
I would love them.
Francis, sorry, Penelope. This has something to do with the bonus prize, doesn't it?
I'm just heading up.
just give her the wheel of brie and the flowers, all right? Peter, tell us things, won't you?
That's right, Sean. When flying interstate or overseas, all our Darryl in the Barrel contestants choose to travel by aeroplane. Why risk death by ballooning or being shot from a giant cannon when planes are available? Some people are idiots. Back to you, Sean.
Thanks very much, Pete. Well, like someone who's been trying to put a call through to all those people born in Finland and eventually does so, we've finally reached the Danish. Finnish. Special thanks to our guests Jimeoin, Melissa George, Erik Thomson, the Whitlams, and of course José Feliciano, who's playing in the next 3 weeks in Adelaide at the Governor Hindmarsh Hotel. I've played there. Well, I've drunk there, and it's great. Perth, the Gold Coast, and Sydney. So thank you very much, José, and everybody else who's joined along tonight, including Penelope, who I think is also appearing at the Governor Hindmarsh Hotel in a couple of weeks. Before we go, let's have a quick look at what will be in the bottom right-hand corner of page 43 of the major newspapers tomorrow. The Australian has the last seventh of the NRL team guide. Sydney Morning Herald has nothing. It only goes up to page 40 tomorrow. And the Brisbane Courier Mail is going with a double entendre mini garage ad, typical. All right, to take us out tonight, a crazed ex-SAS sniper. Or at least that was our plan until the legal department said, no, it's too dangerous. So instead, we have something quite special, something we found in the vaults. Francis, do you remember when you and I formed that Cure tribute band back in the mid-80s?
Vaguely.
Stop eating that body. Do you remember?
Delicious.
We supported Jimmy Barnes, remember? One either side of him coming out of the Chevron. He was completely pissed.
This isn't our version of In Between Days from the semi-final of Pot of Zinc.
It sure is. See you in the Monkey House, Australia. Cue VTR.
Yesterday I got so old I felt like I could die. Yesterday I got so old it made me want to cry. Go on, just walk away. Go on, your choice is made. Go on and disappear. Go on, away from here. And I know I was wrong when I said it was true, that it couldn't be me and be her in between. Without you, without you, without you.
This is Pete Smith speaking.